You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WGBW Daily News Roundup for the Talk of Green Bay, 97.9 FM and 1590 AM.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Vice presidential candidate Tim Walz campaigns in Wisconsin today with stops in Green Bay and Eau Claire. He tells Good Morning America why he's running.
I watched Donald Trump dismiss the COVID pandemic. I watched him drive an economy into the ground. And I watched Joe Biden and Kamala Harris pick those pieces up.
Senator Bernie Sanders is in Milwaukee after criticizing Donald Trump in Baraboo over the weekend.
We cannot elect somebody who is working overtime to undermine American democracy.
First Lady Jill Biden campaigns for Kamala Harris in Madison tonight. Harris herself will be in Milwaukee, La Crosse, and Green Bay on Thursday. Elon Musk's Political Action Committee has taken over a big share of Donald Trump's get-out-the-vote efforts in Wisconsin. Musk's America PAC is reportedly working with the far-right dark money group Turning Point Action. Their combined efforts are said to be focusing on people they've identified as Trump supporters who haven't voted recently. Wisconsin is second in the nation in the number of dam failures. That's according to the Wisconsin Policy Forum. It says 34 Wisconsin dams have failed since 2000. 28 of those 34 dams have failed since 2018. Only South Carolina does worse. The Policy Forum says it's a symptom of aging infrastructure and more rain due to climate change. Native American tribes in Wisconsin are bringing back growing and harvesting wild rice. Joe Gravine is a member of the Lac du Flambeau Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa in northern Wisconsin.
To see that abundance of rice that hasn't been there for 20 years, that smile on their face, the energy that they give off.
But tribes are concerned that climate change could threaten future crops. A man from Milwaukee is dead after getting shot at a youth flag football game Saturday afternoon. The man died after being rushed to the hospital. The person was arrested, but police let him go after they determined he was innocent. Milwaukee police say they're looking into how and why it happened. Meanwhile, city leaders are condemning the violence. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Now, here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim Walz makes an appearance in Green Bay this afternoon. It's his fifth visit to Wisconsin and his first visit to New Wisco. Presidential nominee Kamala Harris will reportedly be in Green Bay Thursday. On the Republican side of the ballot, former President Donald Trump last made his visit to the Green Bay area in April, and in August in De Pere, his running mate J.D. Vance appeared. The presidential election is in 22 days. Civic Media has a Wisconsin legislative voter guide with information that you're looking for preparing for the election. Candidates running to represent you and the new legislative maps are all included. Visit civicmedia.us/voter guide. And to learn what's specifically on your ballot, where your polling place is, and how to request an absentee ballot, visit myvote.wi.gov. The Wisconsin Public Service, or WPS, is asking the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin for rate increases of more than $200 million for customers in northern and eastern Wisconsin in the 2025 and 2026 years. Tom Content with the Citizens Utility Board.
There are a lot of people in northeast Wisconsin that are already struggling to make ends meet and struggling to pay their utility bills. How much is too much is kind of the question.
See our story online for a link to make your public comment. The Green Bay Area Public School District will present its $311 million 2024-25 budget to the school board at a special meeting tonight at 5. A public hearing will be held October 28th at 5:30. The vote on the budget will follow that public hearing. CFO Angie Robles says the budget is balanced, but she sees future deficits if there are no per-pupil cost of inflation increases made soon. See our story at WGBW.FM for information on the budget and the public hearing. Spooky season is here, and there are some real creepy crawlies that can find their way into your house. In the fall, box elders, stink bugs, paper wasps, even ladybugs all want in. As it starts to get colder, pests are often drawn to the warmer areas and will make their way through windows, pipes, or even the smallest of openings. It's not only spiders you should be concerned about, but rodents as well that can fit into spots the size of a human finger. And that's what you need to know. I'm Lisa Hale, WGBW News.
The Packers cut the Cards. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with Sports NFL. The Packers with a 34-13 win over the Arizona Cardinals. Green Bay opened with a run game, but Matt LaFleur says he let Jordan Love call some of the plays.
There were a lot of plays, though, that we line up, no huddle. We have a lot less moving parts. Allow Jordan the freedom to check to what he wants to, and he does a great job with that. And it sounds like I'm in his ear telling him what to call. He does a really good job with that.
The Cardinals plagued with injuries and 13 penalties for 100 yards. Head coach Jonathan Gannon.
Got beat pretty good by a good football team, but, lost a takeaway battle, 3-1, hard way to go, a lot of penalties.
Green Bay now 4-2. The Wisconsin Badgers over Rutgers 42-7 over the weekend. Badgers running back Tawee Walker rushed for 198 yards and 3 touchdowns. Head coach Luke Fickell.
Really, really, really impressive. He just continues to go and battle and work and do a great job at leading for us. And, he's not a guy that if his number wasn't called and it was the other way around, then he would be just as happy right now. And that's what's impressive about him. So we're going to continue to rely upon him just like the big guys. And if we can continue this team's going to be tough.
NBA, the Bucks host the Bulls tonight in a preseason game. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Netflix is very close to controlling the universe. But for now, they're pushing a new talk show hosted by comedian John Mulaney. Variety reports that Netflix executives say they were impressed with Mulaney's interviews during the Netflix is a Joke comedy festival, where Mulrooney hosted a segment called Everyone's in L.A. The comedian has also had multiple stand-up specials on the network. The new talker will drop once a week and possibly in early 2025. Fans of the show The Office, whether it's the British or American version, may or may not be excited to hear there is a new iteration of the mockumentary-style comedy headed to Peacock. It's not being called a spin-off, but they are incorporating elements of the previous shows. Variety reports that on the new show, the company that filmed the daily happenings at Dunder Mifflin are filming a new office in a dying daily newspaper. The show is currently being cast. Executive producers include Greg Daniels, who oversaw The American Office, and Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, who created the franchise. Let's be honest, Scooby-Doo's Velma was a great actor, but when it comes to carrying a show, she can only do that so far. Max has announced that it's canceling the show Velma after 2 seasons. The Scooby-Doo spinoff was considered controversial as they decided to gear the storylines toward adults for both Velma and her Mystery Inc. chums. The Office's Mindy Kaling voiced the role of Velma and was one of the executive producers. Here's one of Pete's picks. If you're looking for a great indie comedy, check out the film Chump Change for rent on YouTube. Writer-director star of the film and native Wisconsin son Steve Burrows was a guest on Nightlight last week and informed me that the film is finally available after 20 years for viewing. This hilarious comedy, which stars, in addition to Burrows, Tracy Lords, Jerry Stiller, Tim Matheson, Ann Mara, Fred Willard, and Shelley Winters. How's that for a cast? The film is set in Milwaukee, and it's a cracklin' good, or should I say, cacklin' good watch. If you liked Young Sheldon, maybe you'll like this other Big Bang Theory spinoff. Variety reports the show, which has been in development at Max for the last year, just added cast members Brian Posehn, Lauren Lapkus, and Kevin Sussman. Story details for the series are being kept under wraps, but the 3 new cast members will reprise their roles from the original Big Bang Theory. If the show is ultimately greenlit, it will be the 4th in the Big Bang franchise. Lifestyle influencer, insider trader Martha Stewart is pulling no punches in a new documentary. The film, titled Martha, covers the billionaire's rise to fame, starting with her days as a teenage model, to her reality series, Snoop Dogg friendship, and her conviction for obstructing justice and lying to the government, for which she spent 5 months in prison. She has opinions on all of this. Martha will soon be available on Netflix October 30th. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Mostly cloudy with a scattered shower, even a thunder shower possible here this afternoon. Our high today, 52. The wind northeast at 5 to 15. Tonight, scattered showers, our low 35. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of only 49. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently, it's 42.
That's your WGBW Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at WGBW.FM. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.